Oh boy, ladies and gentlemen, as we all know, unfortunately, we are living in a very, strange time, let's just say that one, where being patriotic about the place you're living in, yeah, heavily frowned upon. I tell you now, there are people out there who will genuinely get so upset if you show any love towards your country, and most of the time, it looks like this. Same reaction every single time. It gets so tiresome, and in the UK it is becoming more and more common to see backlash towards people being patriotic, like with this story today, because there has been a lot of backlash in Norfolk after there were plans to fly the Union Jack, a pretty normal thing, but people living there have labelled it as divisive. Ladies and gentlemen, I mean it when I say this, help me. Help me! Now, before I get into this insane story and we check out a very heated debate, I just want to thank every single person who checked out yesterday's video. For those of you that don't know, I'm currently in a little battle with the algorithm because clearly it's not liking the videos I'm putting out at the minute. So your support on these videos going forward in the future mean the absolute world. So if you could on this video, make sure to leave a like rating. It's one of the most important things. If you're new, hit that subscribe button, turn on bell notifications so you never miss a video, comment on this video, share this video around, and ladies and gentlemen, buckle up and let's get into it. Help me! Brain cells, you're gonna go by the end of this one, I tell you. The Daily Mail have reported a row in tiny Norfolk village explodes over plans to fly the Union Jack, as some residents call it divisive and claim it could put people off from moving there. Oh no. A plan to fly the Union Jack in a tiny Norfolk village has caused a huge row to break out among some residents, as some claimed it was divisive. Claxton, a village with a population of just under 300, has found itself at a centre of a political row after plans were announced to erect a flagpole outside the village hall. The parish council says they have heard strong reactions for and against the plan, which included some locals going as far to claim the 9-foot 6-inch flagpole could put people off moving to the village. I mean, look, let's just be real about something here. If people are going into a village and they might see the Union Jack and it scares them so much, oh my gosh, I can't believe, are those the sort of people you really want living near you anyway? Because it seems like if they're getting offended over that, they'll get offended over everything. You know, the wind blows a different direction and they start crying. You misgender them, they might start crying. You know how it goes. Me personally, if I saw a Union Jack being flown, I'd love it. We need to see more of it. I don't get how the Union Jack can be divisive. It's absolutely insane. I know these woke leftist liberals don't really like flags that don't have rainbows on, etc., but can we fly a flag here without you getting upset? Apparently not. Residents are now urging the councillors to consider the fine line between patriotism and nationalism and to consider putting bunting up instead. However, minutes from the meeting show that another resident said the flag itself was still divisive. Speaking to the Eastern Daily Press, local resident Glynis White, who lives close to the village hall, said, "The flag is often used as a symbol against immigration, and it would worry me if it was being used in the wrong way. We should be proud of where we come from, but I would like to know more about people's motivations." Meanwhile, another resident claimed that funding should be spent on other things such as central heating and a heat pump. Others fear that the flag could be vandalism. However, residents such as Nancy Harrison are supportive of the plan. You know, is that a typo? People think the flag could be vandalism. What country am I living in? Help me! If you consider the Union Jack to apparently be vandalism, I'm not too sure this is the place for you, you know? The fact this whole thing is going on and it's a debate just shows you how crazy things are right now. 10, 15 years ago, nobody would care, but now the Union Jack is going to go up.
Oh, we can't be doing that. That is really bad. How would people feel if they see the
You see what we have to put up with in this country? Yeah. Very tiresome. But talking of debates, we now have this debate that took place on gbnews to react to, talking about all of this going down, involving anti-racism activist Ayton. Now, if you know anything about this woman, you know where this is heading. Let's get into it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very depressing story. I mean, there's nothing more English than the Cross of St. George flying from a country church or a Union flag flying from a village hall. It's, you know, it's as English as cricket and warm beer. And I don't really think it's that divisive in this village. I think what probably is the case is, as usual, there's a vocal minority, a few people who are trying to stoke division here. The Union flag should instill pride in all of us. We know from polling it's one of the world's best-loved flags. It still adorns more than 20 flags around the world. And, you know, in 2019, Hong Kong pro-democracy protesters waved the Union flag as a symbol of freedom and democracy. And, you know, there was a time when if you had this discussion in a Paris Council meeting and criticised the flag, you'd have been laughed off as a crank or some sort of deluded nutjob, quite rightly.
Like I said, 10, 15 years ago, maybe even 5 years ago, who knows, if somebody did this, yeah, you'd be laughed at. Now, people take these conversations seriously. Crazy times.
And the fact that the Paris Council is even having this discussion shows you the degree to which Britain and the British people have been demoralised, have been destabilised, have been, you know, undermined and attacked by this radical progressive elite that have captured our institutions, and
On
you
purpose.
absolutely loathe Britain and the West.
Let's bring in Imran now. And
Imarn.
Iman.
Thank you, Ayman.
Iman, sorry, my
Thank
eyesight's
you.
not what it used to be.
Imarn.
Iman, so are you a crank and a nut job? Do you see yourself as one
What
of
did you
those
say?
things?
I'm a crank and what did you say?
No,
Sorry.
we were talking about...
Okay, I was like, Ayman.
You could be seen as a crank and a nut
Yes,
job. So I'm
yes,
just
very
wondering
true.
how cranky or how much of a nut job do you see yourself as?
Well, I'm a centrist, so I would actually argue that. Don't do that. Don't even laugh. I'm being very honest right now. You may not feel that way, Rafe, but it is the truth. That's your perception, right? But the reality, in terms of an objective truth, in terms of the way that I govern myself, I'm actually a centrist. So not quite a what was it?
A crank or a nut job?
And a nut job. No, not particularly. But I will say one thing. I appreciate your sentiment and I appreciate your mini soliloquy, Rafe. But may I just finish? You ultimately started your argument by basically not using inclusive language and forget black people. Forget black people. I know that annoys
It's Norfolk.
No, hold on. It's Norfolk, yes. But you still forgot about the fact that we're talking about a British flag, not an English flag, and there is a difference, sir. So when you talk about England, you are actually taking away... This is why Ayman gave you
You didn't get the point.
Hold on a second. It's because you didn't include Ireland and Scotland. Just so you know, Irish, in terms of indentured servants, they were used to kind of explore the different techniques for colonialism and slavery, just so you know, in Africa. So when you come along and you say English flag and English pride, well, you are kind of ignoring the Irish and the Scottish, just so you know. So you might want to lead with...
I never said English
first
flag.
And foremost. So that's why I'm not a crank and what was it? A nut job. Thank you, Ayman. Because I listen and I hear when you go correct with your prejudice and bias, sir.
But you were born in England.
I was. King's College Hospital.
So you don't feel any
Bet she doesn't like that.
association with this flag, do you?
Oh, no, I do. Thank you. That's a very good question. So when we think about the Union flag, it represents so many different countries around the world, purely because of the British Empire. As you know, in Africa, they colonised at their heights and during their reign 50 countries in Africa. So there are a lot of black people that actually see themselves in the Union flag. And what's unfortunate is that we've had all of these riots recently, and they keep going on about how British they are. That's the truth. I used to think prejudice, racism, Islamophobia, bigotry, Union Jack. Now, because of the riots, because of the far-right individuals, now my black female self from King's College London, who was born here in England, now associates Britishness with, obviously, the Union flag and, of course, now the far-right.
Oh my word. Lord help me. Why me? Why me? Why do I have to see this? We have somebody here who now associates Britishness with far right because of what's gone on apparently. Now, I don't believe that for a second. She's just using what has gone on in the past recently to say that she's probably felt like this a very, very long time, but now she thinks it's okay to say it. And apparently, by the way, everybody's far right. You say there's only two genders. Far right. You say something else. Far right. I don't even know what to say. I really don't.
I think we need to understand what's happening here and call it out, because we're getting these sorts of stories every single day in one form or another. This is ideological subversion. What we're seeing now is an attempt to create a topsy-turvy world, essentially. And it's right out of the communist playbook to question every single thing that we want. Well, let me finish, please.
I will, but you don't go there with communism.
To question every single thing that we once held dear, to denigrate our past, denigrate our culture, denigrate our history, even denigrate the very notion of the nation state. And what, of course, is the symbol of the nation state? It's the flag. We need to call this out, recognise it for what it is, and we need to resist it while we still can. That means a robust promotion of British history, British pride, and British symbols.
Are you having these conversations
a union
with the far right,
a union flag in every single.
Right?
1 second, my dear. A union flag in every single school. Portrait of the King. We need to have a proactive defence of what we have while we still can, and before we lose it.
What do you think the Union Jack symbolises to you? Because Aman's saying there that it's been hijacked by the far right.
And
sees the Union Jack now. That's what she sees.
It hasn't been hijacked by the far right. I mean, when you see black and brown and white athletes at the Olympic Games draped in the Union flag, when you see the way that Hong Kong pro-democracy protesters see it as a great symbol of freedom, and I think it's in the 19th century, for heaven's sake, remember it was Royal Navy ships flying the Union-jacked white ensign that abolished the slave trade and went into Africa and Asia to abolish abhorrent practices. I see the Union flag as a great symbol of all that is great about the British spirit.
So I would just say that I appreciate that. I know you very well. We've done many segments before, and I appreciate the fact that you are very much centred around your self-esteem and ego, and who you are is connected to the British Empire. And the
Thank
British
you,
Empire,
Sigmund Freud.
Okay, well, the British Empire is connected to murder, slavery, exploitation. And I know these words feel uncomfortable, but it's the truth. And so I appreciate that you feel the way that you do, sir. With all due respect, Rafe, I like you. I'll be honest, I like you. So I won't negate what you are saying. But I do need you to include something else, which is the fact that the far right, first and foremost, have hijacked the Union Jack, which was first, all centred around Islamophobia, racism, bigotry. Then, because of these recent riots, Ellie, they moved on to the Union flag. Now, for me as a black person, I was just wedded to the Union Jack. But now I've added the Union flag. So now, when I think of Britain, British, I'm now, because of the far right and the riots that have taken place recently, I'm now not just thinking about the Union Jack, which is Islamophobia, bigotry, and just unintelligent people that don't realise they are being used by people that are at the hierarchy in terms of classism. But now I'm adding that with the Union flag.
That's changed for you in the last few weeks.
Yeah, I'll be honest, Ellie, it has.
Oh, well, all my sympathies go out to you, and I'm so sorry you feel that way. I just don't get how people wake up every single day and they live in a country that they apparently hate so much. I mean, it gives everything to you. There's so many great things about the place we're living in, and yet people wake up and think, oh, I hate this about it, I hate that about it, this is racist, that is racist, the Union Jack is now being hijacked by the far right. It sounds controversial, but truly, if people hate this country so much, go to another one. Because it'd be good for you as well. It's good for your mental health. You wouldn't wake up every single day angry, complaining. But no, it's easier to be a victim in a very comfortable country where you're allowed to criticize the country. You're allowed to hate the country. Very comfortable, very easy, isn't it? People just can't be happy these days. People can't celebrate where they're from, unless it's from a diverse background, then everybody celebrates that. But as soon as you want to celebrate the UK, England, whatever, oh no, you can't do that. That is bigotry. You're racist. That is Islamophobia, whatever other buzzword they're throwing out there. And again, this is all to demoralize people. It's about making people hate where they're from, which is a very common thing we see now. Kids especially are being brought up to hate the country they're in. When you brainwash people into believing that everything about the place they're living in is wrong, it's terrible, you make them hate the culture, the traditions, the history, you lose a nation. And this is what we're seeing now. And as soon as people disagree with that and start waving around a Union Jack, they're far right. So you can see what agenda is at play here. But I digress. I could go on forever with this one because I think it is one of the biggest issues affecting the Western world today. But leave your thoughts down below, ladies and gentlemen. What are your thoughts on this lovely, stunning and brave woman? I'd like to know. Leave your thoughts on the story as well in Norfolk. Do you think it's absolutely crazy? Most likely. If you have enjoyed, make sure to leave a like rating. If you're new, hit that subscribe button, turn on bell notifications so you never miss a video. Comment on this video, share this video, follow my socials down below in the description. But until next time, it has been your boy JD. Have a great day, stay safe, and I'm out. Peace.